MSNBC has only ever had 4 women of color solo anchor their own shows, and they've now fired all 4 of them. They've also just fired Alex Wagner. How many protests do you expect to hear? Firing of Joy Reid by MSNBC, of course it was racist. MSNBC has only ever had 4 women of color solo anchor their own shows, and they've now fired all 4 of them. They've also just fired Alex Wagner. How many protests do you expect to hear from Maddow and O'Donnell and all the rest? It stinks.
Yes, you're looking at a woman to your left. Her name is Joy Reid. She used to work at MSNBC. Today was the last day. You know that they fired her, not for doing anything improper, but because she's educating the American people, black, white, brown, yellow, green, you can name it, by calling out the racist President Donald Trump and his acolytes, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel. All of these people are not Americans, they are from South Africa, racist. So they brought the racism to America, able to buy a president and a Congress. These people are billionaires. They came to America and made money off the American taxpayers, in which this country was built by black people and the backs of black people through terrorism, slavery, rape, murder, and you can name it. Remember, black people haven't received anything in this country because it was their right. They receive it because they have to fight for it. So that's why I tell people all the time that you have to respect the African Americans, because they're the one that paved the way for every other minority race that migrate and live in this country. But guess what? Some of them, they hate black people so much that they even some of them voted against their own interests. Spanish people, yes, they are in the last presidential election. So we are calling, as they say, MSNBC is now on the boycott list. Don't think YouTube is our friends though, because you know that they are the one that control the algorithm and the numbers. So everything is all about numbers now, you know. So we as a people, once we unite, you know, we can win, you know. This has nothing to do with race. If you're poor and white, you're still poor. If you're black and poor, you're still poor. If you're Hispanic and you're still poor, you're still poor. So that's the most important thing, the common denominator, that we are all poor people. And unity is strength. The rich people, only a dummy would believe that rich people would be looking out for them. Rich people don't care about poor people. How do you think rich people got rich? They got rich on the backs of poor people. But some poor people, especially the ones that can't read, don't understand all of these things. So based on what is happening now, they say NBC and MSNBC, the racist liberal cable networks, that must be boycotted. So it is time for the American people, especially the black community, to open their eyes to the blatant racism and hypocrisy entrenched in the corporate media establishment, particularly at MSNBC and NBC. These so-called liberal networks masquerade as champions of diversity and justice, yet their actions prove they are anything but. The recent firing of one of the most brilliant broadcasters of our time, Joy Reid, is proof that black excellence is not welcome in their ranks, despite holding a degree from Harvard, one of the most prestigious universities in the world, and demonstrating a commitment to truth, fairness, and the everyday struggles of average Americans. She was unceremoniously dismissed. Why? Because she dared to challenge the narrative, to speak the truth to power, and to stand up against tyranny. This is not an isolated incident. NBC and MSNBC have systematically purged their networks of black journalists, ensuring that any dissenting voice from our community is silenced. Meanwhile, their white counterparts, regardless of their competence or moral standing, continue to enjoy long careers unchallenged and untouched. Like you have Joe Scarborough, Morning Joe, and Mika Brzezinski. Although them kiss up to Donald Trump, all kind of thing, boot licking, and you have to go on. I don't watch them again. So this injustice becomes even more egregious when we see that Joy Reid, own white colleagues, whom she graciously invited onto her show, have remained silent in the wake of her firing. Not one of them has publicly denounced the network's actions. When they were, at one point in time, they were planning to get rid of Lawrence O'Donnell. It was Jai Reid who started to make the dissenting voice and make it known publicly, and the public rallied behind Lawrence, and he's still there. No, silence from him. Not one of them has publicly denounced the network's action, proving yet again that performative allyship means nothing when it comes to standing up for true equity. It is important to recognize who's pulling the strings behind the curtain. South African billionaires Peter Thiel and Elon Musk, and others, both of whom have wielded their immense financial power to influence American politics, have played a significant role in shaping this media landscape to suppress black voices. These men, naturalized Americans, have built empires on the backs of exploited workers and now seek to further consolidate their control over public discourse. Their wealth has allowed them to buy influence, including over a media landscape that should serve the people but instead serve only their interests. White supremacy. Moreover, we must not overlook the role of Donald Trump in this blatant suppression. Since securing the presidency for the second time, Trump has relentlessly attacked the black community and Hispanic, despite the fact that many of these groups supported him and his party in Congress. His administration, emboldened by media allies like NBC, MSNBC, even CNN and Fox News, who pretend to be on the opposite side but are really a part of the same corrupt swamp, continues to manipulate and control the narrative, spreading misinformation to keep the masses in check. The time has come to fight back. We as a people must boycott NBC and MSNBC. We cannot continue. We cannot, in good conscience, continue to support a network that profits off our viewership while simultaneously working to erase our voices. If they refuse to provide platforms of truth and justice, we will take our viewership elsewhere. Bloomberg, for example, has demonstrated a greater level of integrity in reporting and is an alternative worth considering. This is not just about Jai Reid. This is about every black journalist who has been silenced, every voice that has been suppressed, and every American who has been misled by networks that pretend to be on the side while working against them. We must recognize that corporate media is not our ally, and we must act accordingly. If we do not take a stand now, we will continue to be manipulated, misrepresented, and marginalized. The black community, and indeed all marginalized groups in America, must wake up to this reality. Our voices are powerful, and so is our economic influence. The days of blindly consuming media that does not serve us must come to an end. Boycott MSNBC, boycott NBC, demand better and seek out sources of information that will not betray our trust. The fight for truth and justice is not over. It has only begun. You know that these people are the epitome of evil. So we can't allow them to continue this draconian disrespect of black people and take our viewership for granted. So reality, you think about what is going on in this country to see that America is going in a dictatorship. Everything that they have been dismantling, there's no dissenting voice from people from their party. So we know that basically what is happening, the guardrails, the line has been tripped, and America is going to descend in chaos. We don't know when. We don't know if the same people will turn on them. The people that vote for them will turn on them, because when they turn on them, we know that the police, the Capitol Police, will abandon them, because the Capitol Police know who the enemies are, not the black people, and they realize that it's the same white people that they used to think were their allies, the one that beat and killed them January 6th. It was white people that did that. So those who have good conscience, remember, boycott MSNBC and NBC. Have yourself a beautiful day. Peace.